Well, actually, HTS is a new concept of the satellite industry. Definitely, with the HTS concept, the main impact of the HTS satellite was like price reduction. I believe the HTS concept has been promoted a little bit in the wrong way. Back in 2012 or 2011, when we all, our satellite operators, they were supposed to launch a HTS platforms. The emphasis was on the price always. They were saying that there is a broadband connectivity, better price, much cheaper price with better quality. And that's why we give the notion to the consumer market that okay, in a couple of next years there would be something called HTS satellite, and HTS satellite was in their mindset was equal to better quality, cheaper price. Okay, we didn't expect there would be a lot of excess capacity in the market. We didn't expect we were perhaps expecting okay, there would be more capacity, and equally we're gonna have more demand. But right now the challenge is the market is shrinking, the demand is shrinking. At the meantime we have a lot of excess capacity inside the market. I believe, personally speaking, in the future market will reach to some sort of balance. Perhaps in 3 years or 5 years down the road. But the big impact right now is price reduction for everybody. And definitely, except the very consumer market, nobody else is happy from the price reduction of basically satellite capacity, because eventually price reduction for us would be okay, the volume of the job is higher, the money gonna be lower. You need to work more for less money. That's it. Yeah, very good question. Well, actually, the immediate impact of price reduction for every and each player inside satellite industry is basically the reduction in the revenue. You do the same volume, but you get less money. That is the immediate impact. What we are doing in the North Telecom, actually, we are trying to approach more basically serious type of verticals, i.e. oil and gas, maritime industry, private network, banking sectors, perhaps some other industry which they seriously need basically satellite connectivity for the serious purposes. The main drop in the satellite industry for price was for IP backhauling type of application. And the reason is, for the IP backhauling type of connectivity, we have a big competitors, which is terrestrial networks. Terrestrial networks, historically, they have access to the very good infrastructures. They can push the price down, But we, in the satellite industry, we have access to a very, very scarce resources, which is satellite capacity. We cannot push that much the price down. Okay, hopefully, by new concept, look like the LEO constellation or some other concept, perhaps new players, they may be able to, compete at the end of the day with such a basically terrestrial network and all. But in North Telecom, or basically I would say in satellite industry, the change and the direction would be go after more serious customers, who can really understand the value proposition of using the satellite in their business. Dealing with the more serious customers eventually will be translated to basically long-term business relationship, and then they may consider the satellite connectivity, or basically the job of the service provider as a package, not just as a satellite connectivity itself, because we are communication company. We're just not serving the satellite connectivity. We are serving a lot of value add, into supply chain. And that's why our approach, our strategy in mid-term and the long term would be moving to more serious, basically, verticals inside satellite industry. quite honestly, I don't see any significant, difference between, the overall, between what we are doing right now and what we were doing. Like, for your information, North Telecom is just 10 years old. What we were doing, like, we started this business in 2007, basically, but we are witnessing a very significant change, in perhaps in more 3 to 4 years time. 5 years back, 6 years back, there was huge demand inside the satellite industry, mainly through the IP connectivity, IP backhauling, right? Right now, the market is moving more, as I said, to the more serious type of the business. The second one is, right now, the players, they are mainly after more integration, more consolidation. 3 years back, look at what was happening 3 years back for so-called uplink or teleport type of company. There was thousands and thousands, a small company around the market doing uplink facility, and mainly they were concentrating on IP backhauling. Right now, the IP backhauling market is shrinking, and that's why you see whether companies, they are consolidating, doing merger and acquisitions, or simply they are closing down the market. To me, there is no any significant difference in the type of business, but there is a significant difference between the dynamic of the market, which we could see 10 years back and we are observing right now. And I strongly believe there would be a significant change down the road in 3 years' time, because we are in the market is going to be more mature. The market is moving to actually to be more consolidated. Talking about more serious players with a global footprint, rather than having small players around the globe. They can benefit from economy of scale, economy of sharing, sharing the resources, bringing the cost down. When I'm talking about the cost is not just the satellite capacity. Satellite capacity at some particular services is just between 20 to 25% of the production cost. Talking, for instance, about oil and gas market, about the maritime industry, satellite capacity is not everything. It's just, at the best, it's just 30% of the total pricing, And that's why I would say the significant change in the future would be, changing in the dynamic of the market rather than the service portfolio and all. But definitely, mobility is really growing. In the satellite industry, we see the mobility market as a very, very huge opportunity, and the reason is satellite perhaps is the only way we can serve to the mobility. We see, and we are actually considering the mobility as low threat, high opportunity, because we don't see any substitute for basically mobility market, and that's why we are looking at the mobility market as more sustainable type of business rather than any other businesses.